Techie Bressa, the Citybird SUV.
Well, if you wanted a response from the Super Kings after going down to the Super Giants, they've given one to their home crowd. That is the partnership in T20 cricket that dreams are made of. Ruturaj Gaikwad, the best of the Super Kings captain since he was made Super Kings captain. His first IPL 100 in India, his second in the tournament. And Shivam Dube, who went missing in Lucknow, has just paid back the favour to the Super Giants with some interest. The best of Dube, the best of Gaikwad, that power CSK to 210 for 4. Right after they were 85 at the halfway point, and they've managed 75, their best returns in the last 5, closing out that innings on a day where we ask questions of the Lucknow Super Giants, their fielding, some of the tactical calls made by KL Rahul, so it makes for quite a half-time show on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Tom Moody, Mitch McClenaghan, Wasim Jaffer, Dube and partnership have blown your first innings predictions, gentlemen, all ranging from 160 to 175. So, is that advantage CSK significantly at half-time, Tom?
Yeah, I think it is advantage. I still think it's a score that is very gettable because it looks a very good surface. It's only going to get better to bat on with the forecast due, which makes it harder for the bowlers, and also the ball skids onto the bat a little bit better off the pitch. But yeah, that was the Gaikwad's innings was just an absolute gem. If anyone questioned whether the captaincy is affecting his batting, well, there's your answer. That was just a pure masterclass with bat in hand as an opening bat. And he had to carry a bit of that innings whilst Jadeja was finding his way. Like Jadeja faced, I think, 19 balls for 17?
16, yes.
16. You could argue that, he sort of created a foundation for Dube to come in and do Dube things. But you'd like him... I didn't mind him coming in at that point because I felt it was a little bit too early for Dube, but you'd like him to strike above 130 at least.
Okay. Gaikwad has chosen to come to 3 because of the team's needs, come back to opening. I can imagine this would be infuriating and mentally upsetting to so many top-order batters, especially if they're not starting in the best form. How good is that innings given the context of everything else, though?
I think he's back to where he belongs. That's where he's always batted. Number 3 was partly because of Ajinkya Rahane, and obviously Rachin Ravindra likes that being a left-hand, right-hand combination, but he's opened all his life, as far as I know, and that was a masterclass. The way he paced his innings, the way he carried, like Tom said, in between, and how they, switched gears. Top class knock from a captain.
Yeah, he almost sped up, didn't he, towards the end. Usually when a milestone's in reach, you quite often see batters slow down the pace of their innings, but he just seemed to want to clear the rope even more and wasn't even focused on that 100. So it was a great innings, great tempo, well led from the front.
Name 3 batters who slow down. Kidding. Okay.
You would.
No, I would.
You 100% would.
I would never do that.
You are a milestone man. You are.
That's why I'm not in the team. Right. Shivam Dube, 66, and the impact of that innings of just 27 balls, 3, 4, 7, 6 striking at 245. It just continues to...
Yeah, impressive, isn't it? Looks like Chennai obviously depends a lot on him to give them, if they need this kind of a total, Dube has to do bulk of the scoring, and so does Ruturaj also. Those 2 guys even did it in Mumbai, and they did it here as well. So, Dube is such a fine form, even though he doesn't get to play spin, but he finds way to score runs against fast bowlers as well.
That's the point.
That's a great point. Great point. We saw it against Mumbai, right? They didn't want to bowl spin to him. Again, today, you've got arguably the man who was in line to be number 1 spinner for India in Bishnoi, only bowled 2 overs. Krunal Pandya, who's been running hot, only bowled 2 overs. And then you're relying on Marcus Stoinis to bowl 4 overs when he's bowled basically 2 or 3 overs previous to this. And when you're going to look at not bowling your best bowler and say Bishnoi to Dube, you've got to have someone of high quality to come in behind, and probably high pace against Dube. You want to put him into that frame of mind where if he's a little bit out, he's going to make a mistake, and they didn't have that today. As well, they wanted to use Henry up early, and as soon as he was gone, there was no other real options to trouble Dube.
Now, this is a bit of a subplot in the story. There was some cat and mouse here. Stoinis comes on and gets Dube in the last game, And this game, you're thinking, all right, we're going to try and attack Dubey with pace. I don't know how many of his 66 of 27s will feature such a high boundary percentage against pace almost throughout. He did not feel uneasy against pace, and you have not ended up bowling your spinners to 8 overs. Break that down as to where it went wrong for LSG and where CSK managed to win that little plan today.
I think it first started when Kunal Pandya didn't bowl in front of Bishnoi. I think that was the perfect time for the left-arm orthodox spinner to bowl against the right-handers. Bishnoi, for some reason, was chosen before. I'd be intrigued to know what the thinking was behind that, because I'd be thinking Bishnoi is my go-to spinner to the left-handers bowling across them and forcing them to score one side of the field and letting them try to adventure to the leg side from a foot to 2 foot wide of off stump with that steep angle he gets across the lefty. I couldn't understand the logic of that, and it's a way of getting both your spinners into the game, and we knew the spin was going to be relatively important, not like it's a massively turning wicket, but it just changing the pace and changing the angles. To me, LSG looked very pedestrian with their pace bowling. It all looked very similar. Their slower balls were, very, very ordinary in that they didn't recognise early enough that the length slower ball was a free hit on that surface. It had to either be a full dipping ball or into the surface slower ball, like a tennis ball bouncing slower ball, a bit like we've seen Pat Cummins bowl successfully this year. So there's a few issues there. The first thing that comes to mind, Mayank Yadav. That's what they need. They need him back in the side because they need high pace.
Just your thoughts, though, on whether KL Rahul could have done something different. It almost seemed like the plan that worked in the last game. He went for it for this one, but today it didn't work and there was no plan B or plan C.
Yeah, I mean, Dubey would have come prepared. He was surprised in the first outing against Stoinis. He wouldn't have expected that. He got out. But I think the main point is, Krunal Pandya couldn't bowl to Shivam Dubey. So what's your best chance of getting his overs finished before he comes is to bowl in the power play and probably bowl even to Jadeja. Jadeja is not massive 6-hitter, and get those 4 overs out of the way. And then Bishnoi, you can try him when Dubey comes because he's got a decent matchup. He's just probably, gone down with how Moeen Ali took him down and probably played in KL's mind that they might take him down. So I think he got it mixed up, in my opinion.
Yeah, against this lineup, potentially, if you're looking at it, they could have used Kunal Pandya first over, maybe one more in the power play, which kind of lends towards maybe not looking at someone like a Matt Henry bowl or play that game. And look, he did really well. Took 1 for 28. I thought he bowled superbly. But he didn't give you the versatility that you needed. And maybe a more defensive bowler like a Naveen or Huck would have been a great option there to give you some options at the death when you've got such dangerous batsmen in that lineup. And the other point around you with Bishnoi bowling earlier, they were obviously nervous about Dubey, but he didn't bowl to Dubey in that last game. And the reason I think they didn't bowl him in that middle period was because Moeen Ali took him down in that 1 over. But if you go back and look at that over...
Can't live in the past.
Yeah, exactly. But you go back and look at that. Exactly. That's the point, right? You go back and look at that over. There was 2 balls on off stump, which let Moeen free his hands to a short side. And then he set him up with the wide one, which was so predictable. So he actually got out of that over nicely. So he would have learned positive things from that. And I think he's a good enough player to bowl to Dubey.
The other thing that, LSG got wrong is their fielding was atrocious tonight.
Yeah.
It's normally relatively good, their fielding, but they missed, from my top of my head, 3 chances.
Yeah.
And just their outfooting was sloppy as well. There was a lot of misfielding and their throwing was poor. So that, in general, the tone that was set out in the middle was very much on the back foot. It was very ordinary.
Yeah.
At this form now, and against this kind of innings as well, where the opposition has almost bowled no spin to him, is he a lock-in for India's World Cup?
Well, we say
For
it
me
every
as well.
show.
For me, definitely.
What about in the 11?
Who are you talking about, you or Dubey?
Shivam
Well,
Dubey.
of course he's a lock-in.
Yeah.
In the
You've
11?
got no chance.
In the 11,
You have to say so. You'd have to say so.
Yeah.
he is competing with a middle order batter, and we know what the options are over there. So either he's competing with Rinku Singh, or he's potentially even competing with Hardik Pandya on form, on batting form alone.
I'll put him ahead of Hardik Pandya at this stage.
Yeah, look, even though either of those names, he's probably.
How I wish he was bowling, so we get the whole package. But
that's why it's probably competing directly with, say, a Rinku Singh in terms of that position. Rinku hasn't done anything wrong; he's had limited opportunity, but Dubé's just been outstanding. The form middle order player of this comp.
I think the pecking order before the IPL was Rinku and then Dubé potentially. Has that changed?
Well, if you're going purely on form, he's head and shoulders above anyone else in that middle order role. There's a lot to like about what he's doing. I'd love to see him bowl a bit.
Wouldn't we all? Yeah.
Because even just an over or two with the keeper up, stump to stump, that's all that's required in the Caribbean.
Yep.
And then you've got options with not only him and Rinku, but also him and Pandya.
If they do fall short here, the Super Kings, in spite of posting their highest total this season at the Chepauk, we will revisit Ravindra Jadeja's innings, because that is the kind of innings that is potentially the difference when two batters otherwise have batted out of their skin. For now, as the chase is about to get upon us, they did it so easily in the last game, 180, and KL Rahul has mentioned you at the toss. You almost think they wouldn't necessarily be too bothered about chasing 30 more today, Tom?
Well, I think they've got 20 more than they should have got, purely on the more than probably 20 to 30 more than they should have got, purely because of just really poor fielding. And I think if they held their catches, it'd be a total, considerably under 200.
Are you backing CSK to defend this?
I'm actually backing LSG to get these because I just think I'm trusting the forecast of dew.
If it doesn't come, though, then
If it doesn't come, CSK.
Mitch?
I'm going to have to stick with CSK. If LSG chases down, Padarana's going to have a terrible night.
Yeah, there's something about them. Once they get this kind of score and have that kind of batting innings, they just feed off the energy of the Chepauk, and you just know this could even turn out to be a hammering. You almost feel like this has happened in the past, even though Tom's point is valid. See, Lucknow are a batting form side. How do you see it going?
I think it's going to be close.
Okay.
I'll give it to LSG.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. 211 for LSG. Will take some chasing, especially at this ground. Impact option for LSG, given everything that's happened? I don't think Gautam was impacted in. I think he was only the fielder.
I'm going with Arshin.
Arshin Kulkarni, the under-19 all-rounder. Well, India used him at the top of the order of the World Cup.
I'd hold fire. Probably look at maybe using Gautam.
Gautam as
He's
a lower order
proper
hitter.
finisher when you're chasing 210.
Yeah, I'd do that as well. Because chasing this total, you need a impact innings, 5 balls, 15 runs, that type of thing.
Wonder if they actually...
Do I get points if it's Arshin comes out?
Why don't you give me a little more and say Arshin to come out and get 10 ball 30 or
And
something?
bat the wrong side.
Are you giving me any outrageous pick related to Arshin?
I can give you whatever I say, then...
No, I took... I took it to the High Court of the Timeout panel, and
I think he's going to get 30 plus.
Arshin Kulkarni to get 30 plus.
30, that's generous. If he's a specialist batter.
He's under 19 boy, come on.
Well, he shouldn't be playing if you don't think he's going to be...
He's going to have better debut
It's
than
got to
Chepauk.
be 50.
Tom, please allow the chairman to speak. I think 30 plus on his IPL debut is outrageous. I think Arshin's talented.
I just like consistency.
But this is an umpire's call. Unfortunately, you have to live with it. Yeah. So I'm happy with that for Wasim. Although I am going to be dismissing his switch in the first one. So unfortunately, with
what switch?
I might lose 50% of my
got any
match
of them
fee, I think.
anyway.
All right, Tom Moody, luck now to chase this outrageous pick.
KL Rahul 70 plus.
You already mentioned that. You're sticking to that.
Yeah.
Mitch.
Nicholas Puran is going to get 60 plus off less than 32 balls.
60 plus of less than 32 balls. Okay, that works.
If he gets 60, he's getting less than 32 balls. Simple as that.
60 is the hard one, isn't it?
There's a dew.
He gets enough time.
Wasim has just pointed out the stopper there and some dew, or on the camera we can see. So That's what KL Rahul planned for. Let's see if he gets the double over the Super Kings. Should make for a thrilling game if Lucknow to chase this and if CSK to defend it. That points table will look pretty tight at the end of it. So catch us then on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Download the mobile app. Fastest scores and so much more as we approach a fascinating 20 overs of play with Deepak Chair ball in hand. Spoke about the LSG impact option, which is split between Gautam, Arshin, maybe Padikkal if they lose an early wicket. But CSK, have we already seen Shardul? But Shardul seems the obvious choice.
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we see what happens at the end of what promises to be a great one. See you at the end.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.